Hello viewers and welcome to Full Spinnaker Ahead. This is episode 29 part 4, Whitsunday by sail, loving it. In this episode we do a bit of boat work. We look into the Pacific almond, which is one of the best bush tuckers I've ever eaten. Visit a spot in the Whitsundays at Funnel Bay where I did a massive cleanup in 2021. And you meet Lena and Leon, who are a young German couple that come for a weekend sail. So stay tuned. In the sunny Whitsundays, the Pacific almond is frequented on the shores of Early Beach, up in the Torres Straits, Thursday Island and the like, and also found them over in Broome in a few parks and along the foreshore. But the Pacific almond is one of the best bush tuckers I've ever eaten. This little thing here, you can eat that pith. It doesn't taste that good as I remember it, but normally when it goes red I think it's a lot better. I found these over on Early Beach and I've noticed there's quite a few little trees around, but that one there's still got the pith on it. This one here, it's been eaten off. It's quite hard, and inside there is a long almond that tastes really good. Now, I'm just outside the Whitsunday Sailing Club anchored, and I can see a few trees from here. And you can tell them because they're starting to lose their leaves, and the leaves are partially red. So I'll just show you. There's one, that's the Whitsunday Sailing Club, and there's one tree, see there? Pacific almond tree, not a very big one. And then further over on the beach, over there to the left on that beach, you can see just that hue of the red sitting there. That's another Pacific almond tree. And then back over here where I went this morning, off the Early Beach, just over there is one particular tree you can see from here that's really red. There he is. That one there. The Pacific almond tree. So I'll open one up later on and we'll go over and have a look at the tree. It's got a beautiful shady green leaf. So for an afternoon walk in the dying sunlight along the Early Beach foreshore to see the Pacific almond tree, scientific name Terminalia catapa, grows to 35 metres tall and is spread from Micronesia over to India and to the Pacific. It seems to be grown a lot in council areas for the shade, but the fruit's also edible, which we'll see in a minute. Here's the picture of the tree that we saw from the boat, and the fruit is on the ground, and the pith on the outside of these ones have been eaten off by birds. The seed pod is resistant to the absorption of water and hence can float in the oceans from land to land and distribute itself naturally. This is a good example, this one. Oh, there it is. Oh. Look out, Jojo loves them too. One there, another one. You can see it, Stay there. This one's a bit softer because it's not as old, but it still comes out. Pretty tasty. And the other ones, they taste like almonds. Good. Yes, around the corner, as my Uma would say, from Airlie Beach is Funnel Bay. And back in November 2021, after I'd been diagnosed with the cancer and also had Graves' disease, I was seeing cross-eyed, I had a bit of time on my hands, and whilst I was living in Airlie and visiting at times, I'd go for a walk along Funnel Bay, and there was always all this boat debris collected on the foreshore, and so I decided to clean it up and store it in this cul-de-sac you can see just here. It just started off with a little bit and got more and more, and then I got my tinny involved and got up a bit further to get more, and ended up with a big pile of debris on the cul-de-sac, which someone just grabbed it and took it. It might have been the council, it might have been someone private, but we actually never talked about it or organised it. I put it on the cul-de-sac and they took it away, and it just got taken away, and no one really ever said anything about it. But just show you a few photos of what was there and how much it was. It took about 3 weeks, and it would have taken a fair bit of effort to take that away. There would have been truckloads of it. Anyway, it felt really good doing it. It was in a time when I was sort of feeling a bit probably sorry for myself and wanted to do something like that. And it sort of stayed with me ever since, to clean little bits and pieces up, just doing a bit. Yeah, I'll just share that with you. I know it's from 2021, but it just brings back memories when I go back to Airlie. just pull the tinny in at a spot and then comb up and down, and I'd just bring back to a central spot and make these piles of rubbish. And yeah, from little things big things grow, as the Commonwealth Bank says. It definitely did it here. Yeah, g'day. We're confined to the boat. The wind's picked up in Early Beach for the first time I've been here since May. Blowing up to 40 knots. Gusts. So not all the time. The schnauzel is in our little box. We're just doing little boat jobs. This is my fuel stick. So I'm just marking it off on there. That'll be the cover that goes in the front hatch, and it also will be another fuel stick. So we've done that job. We've replaced the forward bridle, but I'm not overly happy with it, but it's working in this wind. We went and bought some polyester rope for the painter of my boat, the one for the long one for out the back and the one for along the side with a snubber on it. I think it's better if it floats, because overnight sometimes when it calms, the boat comes in and it can get around the back of the boat there, and there's the rudder and the prop under there, and it can sometimes it loops around that in some sort of fabulous fashion. I've got another job to do. The tinny hose is all starting to crack, I noticed the other day, and it's been subject to a fair bit of UV, but if you have a look at that, that's not far off breaking. I know inside there's a braided bit, but what I've come to say is that it needs to be replaced, and then it needs to be sheathed. So I found a inch fire hose sleeve here. I'm going to use that to sheathe the whole lot to protect it from the UV. So there's another job. I bought a heap more stainless steel thimbles and another hook and another. So I'm going to make another bridle, and then I'll have one for the back as well for when I want to put a stern rope out. So that'll work pretty good. We're right off the back here. A ferry's just coming in, and we've got some pretty hefty winds. Another wind protection is this little rope here on the external bimini. What it does, it holds the pressure off the zip, and it holds this whole thing down. It puts a bit of extra pressure on there, otherwise it flaps. So I have that on if there's too much wind, and then I've got another eyelet here which I can hold that in with. Sometimes the wind gets that strong, it feels like it's going to tear it apart, so everything helps. So it's going to go outside and show you the wind factor. Yeah, you can see it's blowing pretty hard. You can see the scope on the anchor's pretty good. another time in this same location, I did drag because I only had one engine and I couldn't set my anchor properly, because you just do arcs with one engine. And I dragged across the ferry channel straight towards some yachts, and I started to panic and I dived overboard and tied onto a vacant mooring. Well, that was all good until the owner wanted his mooring back, and then I had to throw another anchor out and try and get to the side of it, and it just all got harder and harder, but somehow we got around it. Hasn't moved yet, which I'm happy about. But it's another couple of days of this, I think. So the next job is that fuel gauge dipstick goes in here. But I want to put the aluminium in and tie it to there, and then just slide that wooden piece in there. And then another job is a reverse current relay. Where is it? Up there. That reverse current relay I'm going to change, because the anchor, especially in the downward direction, the motor doesn't run very well, but in the forward direction it runs okay. So I'm assuming the contacts in that solenoid are a bit, what do you call it, like sparks, or a bit, the electrical contact's not that good and causing it to do that. So I've bought another one and hopefully that'll change it. So there's another job I've got to do. Alright, that's about it. Windy Wednesday and boat work Wednesday all together. Alright, catch ya. Oh, he's a bloke, he's out there boiling. Nice. Come with me into the dungeon. In the forward locker. What else lives in here? Fuel tanks. Locked exposure. Something's locked exposure. The header tank access. Can't really get much light in here, can we? Why not? Anyway, we're in darkness. Fuel dipstick, which I've made a new one and a new pouch for it. That there, maybe we need to get a bit of light from a torch or something. Oh, there we go. I don't know who locked the exposure. That's my new reverse current relay. We're in the forward locker with all the fuel tanks and bits and pieces, and a fuel conditioner up there, and the header tank. The old one there, and that's the winch was sitting in the front tank, the front compartment. What was happening was up and down, the motor wasn't running real fast, and it was intermittently. Sometimes if you went boom 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 boom, it would go a bit better, and it made me think that the contactors were no good. So I pulled it apart, but you can't get at the actual contactors. It's not like a Toyota starter motor where you can actually give the contacts a bit of a file and keep them going for a bit longer. So I just bought a new relay, and just for that short test then, I'll just do it now, you can actually hear that it's that the motor is just running better. Listen. the motors never ran that fast, and I think it's just because of those contacts. So if that's the case, it just changes my whole anchoring process again, where I can actually do that quite quickly and drop a bit of anchor without free falling it, and just use the motor, because I'd probably be going out at a metre every couple of seconds or 5 seconds or something. Yeah, anyway, happy days. Another maintenance job done on Boatwork Wednesday was re-tensioning the rigging. I'd changed the rigging to brand new earlier in the year and done a few Ks up the east coast, and now it was time to give them a retension. It was only half a turn on every turn barrel, but as you can see here, the shifter grabs the open turn barrels quite nicely. Hold the open turn barrel, unlock the lock nuts, and then hold the turn barrel on the top wire from spinning. The bottom won't spin because it's attached to the hull, and just did them all up half a turn. The boomerang stayed wire up the mast was done at a later date on account that it was a pretty windy day. Just giving the lock nuts a little tweak here, just a little tweak, not too tight, just to lock the turn barrels off, and their job was done. Yeah, this is the good enough calypso, I call it, or it's an island strum. My first song that I learnt how to learn the chords to. Basically because I wanted to learn how to play Over the Rainbow. I'm not up to that standard yet, but that's why I call it the good enough calypso. But I'm pretty proud that it sounds like something semi-recognisable, and because it's such something that I haven't really ever done before, except when I was in grade 3 or 4, I think it was, in music. Yeah, so it's been great fun. I've really enjoyed it. Heading to the magnificent Butterfly Bay on the northern side of Hook Island. We accessed it from a narrow passage. It's called the Narrows, between Hook Island and Hayman. And when we got there, we flew the drone and got the aerial view where you can really just see what the playground's all about, with all the beautiful coral and all the possibilities that you can look into. Often it's very busy. There's 9 courtesy moorings, I think it is. There's always someone there, and when we first arrived here, there was a bit of a crocodile sighting, which has always been something that's been on the cards, I'd say, but I don't think it happens very often. But if it did happen too often, it would have a fair impact on the tourism, I think. Because for those who don't know, just around the corner from Airlie Beach is a place called Proserpine. Oh, it's inland 30 k's, 20 to 30 k's, but that river is absolutely chock-a-block full of crocodiles, and so basically all they have to do is swim around Cape Conway and they're into the tourist area out to the islands. And I always thought that as the population grew and got thicker, that's where they would go, but it sort of has happened occasionally, but it doesn't seem to have happened in great numbers. Whether they control it, I'm not sure. What a beautiful fish, just trawling in the Narrows. Look back and here he was on the surface, and Spanish mackerel. and sort of the first decent sized fish I've caught on them. So it should be good tonight. First big fish on the boat. It's I don't know, I didn't measure it exactly, but it wouldn't have been a metre, I don't think, but I'll measure it on the step tomorrow. And it's filled the bucket with cutlets. I cut it all into cutlets. It worked really well. Fish forever. Awesome. So goats on the Whitsunday Islands, I've seen them here in Butterfly Bay. A beautiful looking pair of goats here with beautiful colours and nice horns. The short of the long story is that they were put there originally to provide food for shipwrecked people. So there would be a source of food on the islands. That could be true, I suppose. Also saw some up near Palm Island, and I'm sure they've eradicated a lot of them as well since, because that seems to be the way these days with the national parks. They just want to get rid of all the feral animals. Another way the goats might have got to the islands was just through farming. Back in the earlier days, there were a lot of farms on islands, maybe because the land was either free or cheap. We're anticipating a bit of a wind up here in Airlie Beach for the first time that I've been here. It's going to get up to 30 knots, so I've made a new bridle for my anchor because the old one has got one strand broken, that looks like. So I think it's before that breaks and departs, I think I should fix it. Where is it? Broken. Just in here, I think. I think that's broken. I think that there has got one. It's only got two strands instead of three. So I will replace it. Undo those. I'm gonna have to grind them off. They're galvanised D-shackles over there. These are two stainless ones. I think I'm going to have to grind them. I don't really want to grind them in this pristine environment. I might have to. shorter. And we're going to attach it with a D shackle instead of that, not because I think this way's better, but I haven't made it like that because I wanted to make one in preparation. Stainless steel, only way to go. I made a muck up and I put a couple of gal ones on one side and the two stainless ones on the other side, where I should have put because I only had two stainless ones, I should have put them the ones that go under the water. But anyway, I've made that mistake now and just let it wear out, and then I'll make another one out of these two stainless ones here. These ones.
Hey, this is Leon. I'm the skipper of Jens here in the Whitsunday Islands, and yeah, to the Whitsunday Islands themselves. It's just kind of feels like you're in one of those books your mom read for you before going to bed, and you just think it can't be true when you grow up, but then you noticed you're in between beautiful islands, steep cliffs surrounded by rainforest, every kind of species surrounding you, and then you dive into the deep water, sea sharks, turtles, whoops, and there we are, and all those stunning reefs as it gets more shallow, with every kind of animal you could ever imagine living there, or you can imagine that it's true, and it's just sailing that, have the experience of feeling the elements, and yeah, that's just what I think life is all about, you can say.
What do you reckon, Nana?
What I reckon? It's beautiful landscape.
What does Joey reckon? What does Leon reckon?
No, I'm just amazed.
That's Leon and Nina, a young German couple that joined us for a weekend sailing. We went to Hook Passage and Hill Inlet, which you see here. It was great to spend some time with a young couple that are so enthusiastic about outdoor living, and it was good to hear their viewpoints. So back in the boat, around the headland, and then we followed the Whitehaven beach all the way down to the end and anchored about 50 metres off the beach and did a bit of boat work where we scraped the bottom of Toucan 2. It had this brown weed on it, and in amongst that weed there was so much of these sea lice. They got absolutely everywhere, up your eyelids, in your ears. The ones in your ears were really irritating, and it was just like something was crawling all over you. It was really unnerving. Not long after, Lena and Leon decided that the lure of the silica white sands of Whitehaven Beach is just far too hard to resist, and to swim over to enjoy it. Up to the left there is an anchorage that is used and is quite popular, becomes quite busy. And the beach itself, when I used to live here, we used to have a beach party on there, organised, and a big Samson barge from Chute Harbour would come out and drop a heap of people off, and we'd just listen to music for the day. There always seems to be something going on at Airlie Beach, and it's a very vibrant place, like this big cruiser with a slippery dip on top. They have race week, and they have a music festival and reef festival, and the nightlife in the town is on the go all the time. So I'll be saying farewell, but it won't be forever. I'll be up this way again, and we're heading back down south we've got one engine, or the engine's okay, but the transmission is broken, so only one propeller to get us down there, which makes it a bit hard for the turns and stuff like that. But we just got to get down to Brisbane to an engineering shop, so we'll see you then.